By the time he would walk free, if he walked free at all, he did not look at the gallery. He kept his eyes forward, fixed somewhere beyond the judge's bench, might lead him back to a place where he had learned long ago that invited pity or judgment. The judge adjusted his robe and scanned the file in front of him, some angry, some trying to trade old heroics for leniency. The law demanded consistency, not sentiment. He wasn't defiant. He looked finished. The prosecutor stood and delivered his closing remarks with precision, of the danger of allowing personal history to excuse present misconduct. When he finished, he sat down without looking at the defendant. "Mr. Harris," he said, voice calm, practiced. The veteran inhaled slowly. He had learned that words often betrayed him, but something told him that if he stayed silent now— "Yes, Your Honor," he said quietly. He did not raise his head dramatically or gesture with his hands. "I accept responsibility for what I did," he said. "I made decisions that violated the law." The judge watched him closely now. Discipline would be. Thinking if I followed rules long enough, things would settle. The kind that came from, that could never be taken back. Hands clasped behind his back. Years in uniform had trained. Everything inside felt fractured. Each word landed like a dull strike. Procedural violations, yet heavy enough on paper to justify a decade behind bars. Most of what remained of his life would be gone. He did not look at the prosecutor, as if staring through the walls. Things made sense. Meeting eyes in moments like this only, neither of which helped. He had seen hundreds of men like this, veterans, some broken. He had trained himself to be unmoved by stories. Still, something about the man standing there felt different. Not defeated, just tired in a way that went deeper than exhaustion. He spoke of accountability, of rules that existed for a reason. His tone was professional, rehearsed, clean. Silence followed. "Before I pass sentence, is there anything you would like to say on your own behalf?" That explaining pain only made it sound smaller than it really was. He would regret it in whatever future awaited him. His voice was steady, though low. He spoke the way he always had, direct, restrained. "I'm not here to argue the facts. I won't deny that. I came home after service thinking." "Enough," the veteran continued. "They didn't. I struggled." The courtroom felt colder than it should have. It was the kind of cold that settled into bones, knowing a decision was about to be made. The veteran stood at the defense table, shoulders straight by habit rather than confidence, his body to remain firm even when his name echoed faintly in his head as the clerk finished reading the charges. Nonviolent offenses, they said. Circumstances that sounded small when spoken aloud. 10 years, he wasn't pleading. The judge folded his hands. He had promised himself he wouldn't speak. He had learned that words often betrayed him. That explaining pain only made it sound smaller than it really was. But something told him that if he stayed silent now, he would regret it in whatever future awaited him. "Yes, Your Honor," he said quietly. His voice was steady, though low. He did not raise his head dramatically or gesture with his hands. He spoke the way he always had, direct, restrained. "I accept responsibility for what I did," he said. "I'm not here to argue the facts. I made decisions that violated the law. I won't deny that." The judge watched him closely now. "I came home after service thinking discipline would be." "Enough," the veteran continued. "Thinking if I followed rules long enough, things would settle. They didn't. I struggled. I made bad choices trying to keep my head above water. That's on me." He paused, swallowing once. "I'm not asking for mercy," he said. "Whatever this court decides, I'll serve it." As he spoke, the cuff of his jacket slipped slightly. Just an inch. Just enough? The judge's eyes dropped instinctively and stopped. There was ink there. Old ink. Not decorative, not careless, purposeful. Wings. Stretched across skin weathered by time and sun. Coordinates. A name. A date. The kind of tattoo you didn't get on a whim. The judge leaned forward. "Mr. Harris," he said slowly, "would you roll up your sleeve?" A murmur moved through the room like a ripple in still water. The defense attorney glanced at his client, uncertain, but nodded. The veteran hesitated only a second before calmly pushing his sleeve up. The tattoo was fully visible now. The wings were unmistakable aviation rescue, the coordinates precise. Beneath them, faded but legible, were the words, "Never left them behind." The judge stood. The sound of his chair scraping back was loud in the silence. Judges did not stand in moments like this, not without cause. He stepped down from the bench, his movements slow, deliberate. His face had lost its professional neutrality, replaced by something raw and unguarded. He stopped a few feet from the veteran, eyes locked on the tattoo as if afraid it might vanish. "Where did you get this?" the judge asked. "Afghanistan," the veteran replied, after a crash recovery. The judge's breath caught. "My son," he said, voice unsteady, "was on a medevac helicopter that went down during that operation." The courtroom froze. The veteran's eyes sharpened, memory flooding back, rotor blades screaming, sand whipping into skin, fire blooming where metal should not burn. He remembered the weight in his arms, the small body, the heat. "They told us the pilot didn't make it," the judge whispered. "I didn't," the veteran said softly. The judge pressed a hand to his mouth, turning away. He stood there for several seconds, collecting himself, shoulders rising and falling with shallow breaths. "You carried him," the judge said without turning back. "You carried him out after the fuel ignited, after command ordered withdrawal." The veteran nodded once. He was still breathing. The judge faced him again, eyes wet but focused. "My son is alive," he said. "He has scars. He has nightmares. But he's alive. He has children now." The judge shook his head slowly. "I never knew who you were." The prosecutor stood abruptly. "Your Honor, with respect." "Sit down," the judge said sharply without looking at him. The prosecutor obeyed. The judge returned to the bench, slower now, heavier. He sat, hands resting flat on the wood. "This court," he said carefully, "is bound by law. But the law also allows consideration of character, service, and extraordinary circumstance." He looked directly at the veteran. "You saved my son's life," he said. "You did it knowing you might not survive." The courtroom remained utterly silent. "The sentence of 10 years, the judge continued, is vacated." A collective gasp spread through the room. "Mr. Harris," the judge said, voice firm but thick with emotion, "you are sentenced to time served, mandatory rehabilitation support, and full reinstatement of veteran assistance." The defense attorney's knees nearly gave out as he sat. The veteran remained standing, stunned, his face blank as if his mind could not yet accept what his ears had heard. The judge lifted the gavel. "Court is adjourned." The sound echoed like a release. Outside, sunlight hit the veteran's face, warm and unfamiliar. He stood still for a moment, breathing air that tasted like freedom. Behind him, the judge stepped out quietly. "My son would want to meet you," he said, "if you're willing." The veteran nodded, eyes burning. "I'd like that," he replied. Two lives intersecting once more, not in fire this time, but in grace.